Hey everyone, just wanted to kind of touch base on what I've been doing here with Lead Beacon and Referral Amplification Machine here, specifically with the LinkedIn outreach program, and just kind of explain what's going on to give you kind of the overview of what's been happening behind the scenes and talk about how that looks going forward and how we can kind of make it, refine it, and um, in the end, actually, it's going to be a much better thing in terms of. I mean, the reason they've implemented this change in the first place to limit, how many invites you can send out a week is to limit spam, right, and get rid of that sort of spammy sort of keep LinkedIn as a valuable place to actually network and talk business, right? So, with all that in mind, setting this up differently is what it's all about. So, since we don't have as many requests to use, what we're doing now is making better use of them, right? And so what we'll do now is we pull the list. Now we're going to clean it. We have another database that we're going to clean it up against and remove a bunch of things against, first connections, of course, right? We don't want to reach out to first connections, but also, certain niches and things that we always eliminate against, job seekers and things like that, unless that's part of the campaign that we are running for you. And then I'll just kind of zoom in and give you a quick kind of overview of the process here. But essentially, going into the LinkedIn program, going through these different campaigns, we're using different lists so that we can now go in and use different types of campaigns. So we're engaging with very, very targeted now leads, right? So a really clean list and using that, going through and engaging by visiting and following, and then hitting them with that connection request campaign, with the messaging and the wait and removing that pending request, and then going through that process, right? So that's the same, going in, creating that new connection, and then getting that over into the system. From the system, of course, then notifying you, getting that notification to go in and qualify it. From that, once it's qualified, and this is kind of what makes this even better in terms of the engagement that you do get from these leads, right? Because it's more an authentic experience. You're going in, you're learning about them. So you're going in, visiting the profiles, eliminating any that are not good fits. I don't have that represented in this diagram yet. And then gathering information and personalizing that contact, right? And so once that's personalized in there with the unique parameters now custom values, sorry, then now we can reference that and use it in our marketing, our outreach messaging and such, and filter based on different actions that the lead is now taking, clicking on emails or opening them, or clicking on links and looking at things, multiple touches, right? Then increasing that lead score, and that kind of further triggers things, as you know, within the actual system there. Now on the different campaigns, so we'll still, have these different, and this will be where individually different setups, different kind of targets, and different businesses have different buckets, essentially, right? So that we'll use different versions of these kinds of campaigns. Essentially, they're multi-channel ones, right? So LinkedIn, or on platform, using some voicemail drops in certain ones. I don't have any actual text messaging in this. Typically in B2B, it's not something that, unless they're opting in, we're not really using text messaging. Certainly in like kind of lead gen, but on platform messaging is really powerful. And then also getting into this one here, what the red highlighted ones is talking about are really then using personalization, right? And now there's some level of that there, but in here, this is more of a this path represented here is more of, we're using specific information to use and help to frame, or using it like for even quoting purposes, or different aspects with that. So and again, it depends on the business model and what it is that we're doing and helping you with. And so, as you can see, the whole purpose here is to get to the landing page and then segment through the different channels depending on what it is they're looking at, right? So quoting, form fill, emails, book a call, directions, phone and text messaging on Google Maps is not on there either. There's that channel as well, and all that feeds in here. So that's kind of a quick overview of how that's changing going forward. So this list building is a lot different on the front end. We're going through um, a much more rigorous kind of process to clean this. We don't want to waste any invite connections, and then that only helps our whole case, because then LinkedIn sees that, hey, we're using these connection requests, and the conversion rate will go. We'll send fewer requests, but we'll have a higher conversion, right? And so that's the goal there, and then that'll allow LinkedIn to see that, hey, we're using it as intended, and doing well with it. And then from there, we'll have some new powerful workflows that will, be able to kind of track all of what's going on here with different attribution tracking now, that then we can use and trigger these if then, really powerful. So we can kind of drop them in and send them down different paths within the marketing. So, and then also trigger things, so that we know when they're doing specific things, right? So once they're on this kind of red path, the cool thing with this is you can start to do, that they opened a link, they must be on their phone, and you can kind of do powerful stuff like that if it makes sense, right? Most B2B is not kind of like, really in your face, but it's nice to kind of know what's going on with the lead in that buyer's journey. So hopefully that makes some sense and you guys find some value in this. And I will kind of refine this and keep you posted, and talk to you guys each individually as we kind of plan that strategy. So talk to you soon. Take care.